This is abusive. This is neglectful to put a child into this position. Hey, Tom Stevens, your resident psychotherapist from Reaction Therapy, here to look at a case of parents in Michigan whose son apparently was a school shooter, and the parents are getting convicted to 10 to 15 years in prison for what the son did. Is this right? Is this okay? I cannot wait to hear what in the world happened here. I heard bits of this case, but look, son goes in, shoots other students, I think, in his high school, and the parents get convicted 10 to 15 years for this. Without further ado. Oh my gosh, is this good? Is this bad? What did they do?
The historic sentencing in Michigan, where a judge has sentenced both parents of the 2021 Oxford high school shooter to 10 to 15 years in prison. James and Jennifer Crumley, both separately addressing the judge today, and the families who had everything ripped from them. The judge today making it clear their, quote, convictions confirm repeated acts or lack of acts that could have halted an oncoming runaway train. That very inaction haunting the parents and loved ones in that courtroom today.
While your son was hearing voices and asking for help, I was helping Madison pick out her senior classes. While you were purchasing a gun for your son and leaving it unlocked, I was helping her finish her college essays. When you were on the phone for 10 minutes with each other trying to figure out where the gun was, I was on the phone with her father and family trying to figure out where she was. When you texted, Ethan, don't do it, I was texting Madison, I love you, please call mom.
Oh.
When you found out about the lives your son took that day, I was still waiting for my daughter in a parking lot. When you asked him why, I was waiting for the answer on to why the last bus never came. When the police showed up at your house, you didn't understand why they were there. And I was asking police if they checked every possible location and if I could go search too.
This is heartbreaking. The mother of one of the students that died recounting every single step of neglect from these parents. Buying him a gun as a teenager, letting him have it, keeping it unlocked, texting him, don't do it. Clearly they knew something was going on. Sounds like a guy that never got help. And she recounted every single moment she had with her daughter of being fine and everything was okay, into fear, desperation. So heartbreaking to hear how avoidable this is, y'all. This is completely avoidable. Nothing to do with guns. It has to do with parenting. I've said it for 20 years now. There is a breakdown in the family system in our world. And let's talk about our country. And in our country, there's a breakdown in the family system. Number one, fathers aren't present. I can speak to that as a dad, as a man. I'm telling you, my number one thing is that dads be present in children's life. Number two, there's no consistency and sense of morals and doing right in the world in the family. And number three, there's no attention paid to the children, meaning connection, meaning understanding where they're coming from, understanding when they need help, getting them the help that they need, and getting yourself the help that you need instead of just abstaining from parenting and letting them be whoever they want to be, which creates demons and darkness and stuff like this.
Incredibly emotional day in that courtroom. NBC's Shaq Brewster reporting for us from outside the courthouse in Pontiac. Also here with us on set, MSNBC legal analyst Danny Savalos. Shaq, if you will, start us off. I was watching that testimony all throughout the morning. I cannot imagine what it's like to be those parents in their shoes, reliving that day once again. Walk us through it.
Yeah, gut-wrenching statements that you heard from these parents. And by the way, we're still waiting to get their reaction to this sentence. We didn't see any a visible reaction in the courtroom, but right now it sounds like the parents are still in the courtroom talking to the prosecution, and then we'll see how they're reacting to the sentence. But that sentence coming down just in the past hour or so, the judge sentencing the two parents now convicted and sentenced of 4 counts of involuntary manslaughter. The judge sentencing them to 10 to 15 years behind bars. When it's all said and done, when you count in the formulas there, you'll see them behind bars for a period of about 7 to 8 years, because in the state of Michigan, you usually serve about 2/3 of that sentence, and they'll be getting credit for time served. And the judge explaining that this is not about bad parenting, that she kind of dismissed the arguments that you heard from James and Jennifer Crumbly as they spoke.
Oh, I'm gonna speak to that because I've seen a lot with children and abuse and neglect and all kinds of things. Bad parenting does not constitute abusive or neglectful parenting. There's 2 different categories with that. So a lot of people make poor decisions as parents, and they're just not good parents. This is abusive. This is neglectful to put a child into this position. This guy had no hope from what it looks like the way he was raised, and just absolving their parenting for him. And that kind of thing that ends up having somebody shoot people as a teenager does not start overnight. It takes months and years, honestly, to get to that point. Whether it's the way they're treated, whether it's the way they're not paid attention to, whether it's the way that they have any mental or emotional illness is not treated. But this isn't about bad parenting. It's terrible parenting. We can all agree to that. It's neglectful, harmful, and abusive parenting.
And as they addressed the court and those families in that courtroom, and the judge said the sentence is not about bad parenting. Instead, she said it's about related acts that could have halted a runaway train. She later said it's about repeatedly ignoring things that made a reasonable person feel the hair on the back of their neck stand up. And that sentence came after that emotional testimony, those emotional victim impact statements from the parents of the 4 victims. I want you to listen to a little bit more of what we heard in that courtroom.
It's fair to say that I live every day with pain, anger, heartache, regret, anxiety, stress, you name it. They are all there, wreaking havoc in my once normal life.
Yeah, their lives are forever ruined. Their lives will never be the same. They've lost someone, a child. Their lives will never be the same, and they'll have anger. They'll have sadness, they'll have confusion, they'll have ups and downs, mood swings for the rest of their life. You know, the guilt a parent feels for having their child even in that spot, even though she's going to school and doing her thing. So brutal.
Murder has destroyed a large portion of my very soul. I've said these words before. It's still the truth. I remain a shell of the person that I used to be.
Yeah.
I think of her and miss her constantly. Every day is a battle to attempt to move forward.
We know that as some of those statements were being read, James Crumbly became emotional. He was wiping away tears. We saw Jennifer Crumbly look down, not really look at the parents as they were talking.
So now let's go to this clip of Ethan Crumbly, who's the one who did the shooting, the teenager. And he's, I think, here giving a statement when he's convicted or sentenced.
With that, Mr. Crumbly, is there anything you would like to state before I pass sentence?
Your Honor, may he stand?
Yes, you may. Thank you. You may proceed.
I'd like to thank you for letting me speak, Your Honor. We are all here because of me today, of what I did. My actions were because of what I chose to do. I could not stop myself, but I am the one who led to why we are here today. I do not diminish any ability to anyone who could have stopped me, of any one of us.
This is heartbreaking. This is even further evidence that this guy has a lot of problems, a lot of emotional instability, and is basically saying, look, I did this. It's on me. I'm not going to blame anybody in this. I'm the one that needs to take responsibility for it. basically probably inside saying, I needed help. I didn't get any help. And so it led to this. And this is where I pay my price. I'm not going to put it on anybody else. This is what makes me so mad at parents. And I looked at something while I was pulling this clip up that said, I think things like he was writing notes about wanting to get help. He was writing notes about having voices. He was drawing pictures. And even at school, I think the school saw something he wrote or drew, sent him to the office. I think maybe even the day this happened, called the mother in and said, this is a problem. You need to get help for him and you need to take him home. And I think she said, I can't take him home because I need to go back to work. Shame on you. This is horrific as a mental health professional, especially because you see a lot of kids that you think they're hateful, they're dark, they're devilish, whatever. This guy looks broken. He looks like he needed tons of help and never got any. And this is why I do what I do every day, to be able to stop children younger rather than when they get to this point to have this kind of thing happen, because he should not end up in this spot. It's his responsibility for what happened. And I'm telling you, his parents created this monster.
Our parents, they did not know, and I did not tell them what I planned to do, so they are not at fault of what I've done. I am a really bad person. I have done terrible things that no one should ever do. I have lied, been not trustworthy. I've hurt many people, and that's what I've done, and I'm not denying it, but that's not who I plan on to be. Whatever sentence it is, I do plan to be better than I am. I don't know if you'll believe that, but records of 15, 20, 25 years can show that it will change. Because it may not show it now with only 2 years of records, but I am trying. And all I want is for the people I hurt to just have a final sense of culpability that justice has somewhat been served in any capacity that they can recognize it with. Any sentence that they ask for, I ask that you do impose it on me, because I want them to be happy and I want them to feel secure and safe, and I do not want them to worry another day, because I really am sorry for what I've done, for what I've taken of them. I cannot give it back, but I can try my best in the future to help other people, and that is what I will do. So, thank you, Lorna.
Thank you.
So there's Ethan Crumley. And man, that's heartbreaking, because I feel like the victim's parents are probably more mad at the parents of Ethan than he himself, knowing he's like falling on the sword. Whatever they want for me, I will do. Whatever sentence they want, I will do. I deserve that. I want them to be at least somewhat at peace with knowing that I'm ready to take the punishment for what I did. And it's just terrible to see situations like this happen. They should never happen again. We need to do more to help the family situation in our environment, but these people wouldn't be asking for help. They weren't getting help. They weren't getting him help. We need to do more early intervention. We need to be tougher on noticing signs of when children in school are exhibiting dangerous behavior. We've got to watch this and pay attention and take it seriously at this point. Let me know what you think. Leave me your comments and let me know what in the world is happening beyond what I just saw and what I said, because I want to hear what you got to say. Thanks for being here. We'll see you on the next Reaction Therapy.